In 2009, Indonesia's digital landscape was just a whisper. Only 30 million internet users, a mere 13% of the population, were exploring this new frontier. Amidst an ocean of opportunities that were not obvious to everyone, Wilson, Taiga, and Batara saw the spark of a digital economy. They founded East Ventures to breathe life into Indonesia's digital economy. Their founder-centric philosophy believed that while businesses might evolve, the vision of the founders would be the guiding star. Guided by this belief, East Ventures continues to capture various opportunities with a keen eye, recording numerous unicorns and category leaders, and creating countless economic growth and positive impacts. With 15 years of experience, we have witnessed countless crises and economic cycles. Despite all the challenges, East Ventures stood firm. We focused on resilience, adaptability, and core strengths, transcending these values throughout the ecosystem and actively working hand in hand with the founders to navigate and thrive. Our circle of expertise, combined with our team's brainpower and the systems we have built over the years, allow us to be increasingly efficient in making data-driven decisions and avoiding complacency in supporting our portfolio companies. Our collaboration has only grown stronger, and at every gathering and summit, we continue to reinforce our commitment to excellence and innovation. Every storm passes, and you will never know when the good or bad days will come. It is not the length of time or experiences that we pride ourselves on. We believe our strength lies in embracing changes and maintaining adaptability. With a strong dedication to constant improvement, we remain confident in achieving our mission to forge a productive and healthy Southeast Asia for today, tomorrow, and more generations to come.
There are seasons when momentum slows. All forces are pulling down. The path ahead feels uncertain, putting the resilience of even the boldest visions to the test. In these tough times, many pull back. But at East Ventures, we perceive gravity differently. Not as a limit, but as something to rise beyond. Our belief in strong fundamentals, disciplined execution, community building, and long-term value creation continues to prove itself. It is our commitment to building with and for the community that continues to anchor us, even when the ground shifts beneath us. We doubled down on belief in our founders. Against the pull of the impossible, they soared. And we were right there with them through every step. While others pulled back, we pushed forward. When the cycle turned, our portfolio companies stayed strong. One even soared to an IPO. In every challenge, we saw momentum. In every founder, we saw courage. In every investment, we saw responsibility to catalyze meaningful change. East Ventures' action may seem counterintuitive to some simply because we don't follow the crowd. But we see beyond the obvious. We refine the game after we've mastered it. We rise, not alone, but together, building for what lasts beyond the cycle, and they will carry us forward long after gravity fades.
At East Ventures, sustainability is more than just a principle. It defines who we are. It is the foundation of our actions, shaping our investments, empowering change makers, and creating lasting impact for generations to come. We have developed a sustainable investment framework centered on doing good and avoiding harm. This framework guides our investments by minimizing environmental and social risks while strengthening corporate governance across our portfolio companies. Committed to sustainable growth, we align our practice with global standards and are recognized for our impact in driving sustainable innovations.
At East Ventures, we prioritize more than just delivering strong financial returns. Our mission includes making meaningful and lasting impact on our society and environment.
With our sector-agnostic approach, we fuel growth across industries and borders. Our investments have driven meaningful impact, with our ecosystem contributing to 16 out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
By embedding ESG into everything we do, we empower our companies to follow the same path, guiding our portfolio company to grow responsibly, innovate boldly, and create lasting impact.
At Foreign Coffee, our journey begins with a commitment to uplifting local communities and championing Indonesian coffee culture. By showcasing premium beans from iconic regions such as Aceh Gayo, Java Brenger, and Toraja. We also take action for sustainability by upcycling plastic waste into functional furnishings across our outlets. East Ventures has been an integral part of our journey from the very beginning, even before day one, supporting us all the way to where we are today with our IPO and continuing with us into the future. Their constant guidance, recommendations, and invaluable insights have helped us strengthen our ESG practices and assessment, as well as grow our business network. Together, we are building a foundation for sustainable growth.
At Surya, our core mission aligns directly with the environmental aspect of ESG as we drive Indonesia's transition to renewable energy. Through our innovative solar energy solutions, businesses can adopt clean energy solutions without upfront costs, reducing emissions and operational expenses seamlessly. East Ventures has always been a strategic partner that shares our long-term vision for sustainability. Your unwavering support, strong network, and commitment to sustainability help us to scale our operations across Indonesia more quickly and responsibly. We're not just building a business, we are making a positive impact on the communities and the environment.
Our commitment is unwavering. With innovation as our compass and impact as our mission, we move forward, forging a productive and healthy Southeast Asia for today, tomorrow, and more generations to come.
Listrik adalah nadi kehidupan, menyalakan cahaya, menggerakkan industri, dan menghadirkan masa depan hijau. Kini, kekuatan itu datang dari sumber bersih dan tak terbatas. Menuju net zero emission 2060, transformasi bauran energi menjadi fondasi kokoh bagi masa depan yang bersih, hijau, dan berkelanjutan. Ini diwujudkan PLN dalam RUPTL 2025-2034. PLN menargetkan pembangkit energi baru terbarukan mencapai 76%, setara 52,9 gigawatt. Untuk memastikan energi bersih terus mengalir, PLN menghadirkan 5 klaster solusi utama. Power Connection Solution, sambungan energi yang handal, cepat untuk industri dan bisnis. Operational Excellence Solution, pendampingan operasional, inspeksi, dan monitoring demi keandalan pembangkit dan jaringan. Green Energy Solution, penyediaan energi terbarukan dari studi, instalasi, hingga perawatan panel surya. Digital Technology Solution, integrasi teknologi pintar, smart meter, monitoring jarak jauh. Management System Solution, manajemen energi terpadu melalui audit energi dan dashboard digital terkini. PLN menerangi masa depan dengan energi bersih, handal, dan berkelanjutan.
Produk-produk sangat ringkas, cepat, dan responsif. Betul-betul fit dengan kebutuhan pelanggan kita. Membangun kapasitas nasional dan memberikan kemakmuran bagi rakyat Indonesia.
Bersama, kita wujudkan Indonesia yang lebih hijau, lebih maju. The New PLN 4.0, Accelerating Renewable Energy.
Triputra Agro Persada, a sustainable plantation company founded by Mr. Theodore Permati Rockmat and the late Mr. Benny Subianto. Established in 2005, Triputra Agro Persada was born in, by, and for Indonesia, carrying the aspiration to create real and sustainable value for nature, society, and future generations. Our commitment to preserving ecological balance is the cornerstone of our continuous growth journey. Across our plantations, we implement the best agricultural practices in a sustainable manner, ensuring that every step we take contributes positively to ecosystem preservation. This commitment is further strengthened through the utilization of POME as a greener and more efficient energy source as part of our efforts to reduce carbon emissions. We have dedicated land for conservation purposes, among them a Mayong Marapun forest and the Leta River area, actively preserving biodiversity while protecting our forests from fire hazards. At the heart of our progress lies collaboration with local communities. We strive to support the fulfillment of essential needs, ranging from healthcare, education, infrastructure, and clean water access to cultural preservation initiatives. Through the Desa Makmur Peduli Api program, we promote sustainable village independence, encouraging long-term resilience and self-reliance. We place strong emphasis on empowering smallholder oil palm farmers by sharing our best practices, enabling them to manage their plantations independently and sustainably, improving both productivity and family welfare. Our TAP for the Nation program are aligned with the National Asatita Agenda in support of Indonesia's Golden Vision 2045, corn cultivation to strengthen food security, milk provision for school children through the Sihari program to improve child nutrition, home renovation through the Pondasi program to support better living conditions. Our commitment to sustainability continues to grow through adherence to global standards and strategic collaborations to drive green innovation forward. Triputra Agro Persada, Green Plantation for better quality of life.
May we have your attention, please? We'd like to invite you to please take your seats. The Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 Grand Finale is starting very soon. For those who haven't filed the attendance form, we encourage you to scan the attendance QR code and to please complete the form. And now, let's take a look at the journey of CIIC 2025.
Across the globe, the climate crisis is rewriting lives and livelihoods. It's not distant. It's here. But at the same time, from every corner of the world, change makers are rising to meet this challenge. East Ventures and Temasek Foundation ignite the mission to power innovations into engines of impact. The strength of the world's ecosystem, innovators, trailblazers, and game changers comes together to unlock impact that reaches communities and industries. This year, East Ventures and Temasek Foundation proudly return with the third edition of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge, or CIIC. Nearly 500 change makers from more than 50 countries have shared ideas that spark real climate impact. 9 innovators have been selected to present AI-integrated solutions to tackle climate challenges across the 3 tracks of CIIC 2025. The finalists will compete for a total of 10 billion rupiah and other exclusive perks to boost their projects and growth opportunities. Over the months, the finalists have embarked on an intensive journey. Guided by ecosystem experts, they sharpened their vision and fortified their strategies. Across borders and industries, these are the brightest ideas of CIIC 2025. Today, they are ready to pitch their vision for a sustainable future. Let the pitch begin.
Selamat pagi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 Grand Finale. Let's put our hands together to celebrate this momentous occasion. Thank you. Proudly organized by East Ventures and Temasek Foundation, the CIIC 2025 Grand Finale is part of Indonesia International Sustainability Forum, or ISF 2025, right here at the Jakarta Convention Center. My name is Siska Becker. It is such a great honor for me to be back here to host the CIIC 2025. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome all esteemed guests, distinguished partners, and all participants and finalists who have joined us this morning. How are you, finalists? How are you feeling this morning? Okay, that response should tell you how they're feeling. Very excited to have you all here with us, of course. Now, before we proceed, allow me to first extend my warmest welcome to a few of our distinguished guests. First, we'd like to say good morning and welcome to the Vice Minister of Environment of Indonesia, Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono. Good morning, sir. Selamat pagi, Pak. Terima kasih banyak sudah bergabung. We also like to extend our warmest welcome to the Ambassador of the Republic of Singapore to the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Kwok Fook Seng. Good morning, Your Excellency. Thank you for gracing us with your presence this morning. We also like to welcome Mr. Darsono Hartono, Vice Chairman of Environmental Sector from the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you and good morning. And a warm welcome indeed as well to Mr. Theo Mingkian, Board of Director of Temasek Foundation. Thank you, sir. Such a pleasure to have you here with us. We also like to extend our warmest welcome to Mr. Ng Boon Hyong, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And also a warm welcome to Ms. Afina Sugiarto, Partner at East Ventures. Ms. Afina, always a pleasure to see you. We also like to welcome the judges of CIIC. We have Ms. Melissa Irene, Partner of East Ventures. Ms. Melissa, always great to see you. Ms. Heng Lilang, Head Climate and Livability of Temasek Foundation. Good morning, Ms. Heng Lilang. Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director of Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food. Good morning, Pak David Audi. And also Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner of Arukah Capital. Selamat pagi, Pak Abraham. Thank you all for taking the time to be with us this morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, over the 3 editions, including this year, CIIC has cultivated over 1,300 submissions from change makers across more than 50 countries. This year, after a careful review by East Ventures, Temasek Foundation, and special shortlisting committees, 9 outstanding finalists have emerged, leading the way to accelerate sustainability in Indonesia and beyond. These finalists compete across 3 tracks: energy transition, sustainable agriculture, and circular economy. Throughout the CIIC program, they have been mentored by ecosystem leaders, gaining guidance to build strategic partnerships, craft go-to-market strategies, and sharpen their skills to scale impactful solutions. Now today, they'll be competing for a total prize pool of 10 billion rupiah. Yes, indeed, another round of applause to get them excited. A great incentive they have here, along with exclusive perks to accelerate their growth and mission to create a lasting climate impact from Indonesia to the world. And of course, by the end of this grand finale, we will witness the most anticipated moment where the winners of each track of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 will be revealed. Now, for those of you who wish to share the excitement, please do so, and don't forget to tag at CIIC_SEA and also East Ventures and Temasek Foundation on Instagram, LinkedIn, or also X. Now let's give a round of applause for Climate Impact Innovation Challenge 2025 Grand Finale. Now, ladies and gents, none of this would be possible without the unwavering support of our partners. We are truly honored to present the exceptional partners of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Our strategic partners, PLN and Triputra Agro Persada. Let's give another big round of applause for our strategic partners. And also our investor partners, Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food and Skystar Capital. Another round of applause, of course. As well as our challenge partners and outreach partners. CIIC 2025 is supported by the Ministry of Environment and Environmental Control Agency. Again, a big round of applause for everyone who have supported us. Thank you so much for supporting this event. And let's give another big round of applause for the partners and for all of us here witnessing this historical moment. Boleh tepuk tangan sekali lagi yang paling meriah? Thank you very much. And with that, we are now ready to kick things off. Now we have a few words from the organizers of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge. Therefore, we'd like to invite Ms. Afina Sugiarto, partner at East Ventures, to come up to the stage and deliver her welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Afina Sugiarto.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. Very excited to see a full room here. You know, it's we've been here for 2 years, and we always see a full room. Excited with innovators in Indonesia. I'm Afina Sugiarto, partner at East Ventures. A warm welcome, Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono, Vice Minister of Environment of Indonesia. His Excellency Mr. Kwok Fook Seng, Ambassador of the Republic of Singapore to the Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Darsono Hartono, Vice Chairman of the Environmental Sector, Indonesia Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Teo Ming Kian, Board Director of Temasek Foundation. Mr. Eng Boon Hyong, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation. Representatives of the Indonesia International Sustainability Forum 2025. All distinguished judges and partners, media friends, Temasek Foundation and East Ventures team, and of course, all finalists and friends of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Welcome. On behalf of East Ventures, I'm truly honored to welcome you to the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 Grand Finale. First of all, congratulations to all finalists for making it to the last stage. You represent the top ideas selected from 500 applicants from over 50 countries worldwide. Since its inception in 2023, CIIC has continued to grow as a platform that drives meaningful innovation and real impact in addressing one of the greatest challenges of our time, climate change. We are grateful to continue this journey with Temasek Foundation and all of our partners whose trust and dedication make this initiative possible. This year, we continue to witness policy developments and strong commitment to developing solutions and innovations in Indonesia. It is inspiring to see innovators from across the world come together with one shared purpose, creating a sustainable future. With AI reshaping industries, we also see bold innovations that harness its power across these areas. As an early believer in technology, we believe ideas at the intersection of sustainability and technology will shape the future. Thus, we continue to serve as catalytic capital by intentionally and consistently funding tech startups and companies that drive inclusive economic growth and sustainability outcomes. Sustainability and creating intended positive impacts have always been part of East Ventures' DNA. We are dedicated of playing our part in creating initiatives such as CIIC to serve as a platform to foster investment, partnerships, and collaboration among investors, innovators, and all stakeholders. It is about transforming bold ideas into actions, into solutions that can be tested, scaled, and replicated. in Indonesia and extending it to the broader region. As we approach the conclusion of this challenge this year, let us celebrate not only the winners today, but also the spirit of innovations that unite us. We extend our sincere appreciations to all the applicants for the ideas and the efforts which bring us closer to a sustainable and inclusive future. Lastly, to all finalists, you are all champions of our climate. Today is not only about celebrating your achievements, but also about recognizing the vital role of transformative ideas and collaboration in forging a productive and healthy Southeast Asia for today, tomorrow, and more generations to come. I wish you all the best for today's competition. Thank you.
Sugiarto for the welcome remarks, and thank you for giving us the background and context of CIIC 2025. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the next opening remarks, please join me in welcoming Ms. Heng Lilang, Head Climate and Livability of Temasek Foundation, to the stage with a round of applause.
Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono, Vice Minister of Environment of Indonesia, Mr. Kok Fok Sing, Ambassador of the Republic of Singapore to the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Teo Meng Kian, Board of Director, Temasek Foundation, Mr. Ng Bun Hyong, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation, Ms. Avina Sugiarto, Partner of East Ventures, partners, and distinguished guests, good morning. I'm Li Lang from Temasek Foundation. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the grand finale of the third Climate Impact Innovations Challenge, co-organized with East Ventures. Temasek Foundation is the philanthropic arm of Temasek International, a global investment company in Singapore. We catalyze the commercialization of disruptive innovations to tackle sustainability challenges. By bridging the gap between research and real-world solutions, we help to bring impactful products and services to market, benefiting communities. We are thrilled to partner with East Venture for the third year running. Since its launch in 2023, the CIIC platform has matured into a quality-first showcase, consistently attracting strong solutions with a clear path to scale. Our past winners are already taking significant strides. SunGreen H2 2024 winner is working with PLN on a pilot and has secured early investor for its Series A, aiming to lower the cost of green hydrogen in Indonesia. Quabotech 2023 winner was selected for the prestigious Breakthrough Energy Program, Fellow Program, and has closed a seed round led by 500 Global with grants from various organizations, including Khazanah National. And Quabotech to date, they have raised over 2.8 million Sing dollar on follow-on funding. Fueled by this momentum, we had overwhelming global interest this year, attracting nearly 500 applicants from more than 500 countries. And today, we are very excited to see the 9 climate tech startups with taking the pitch for more than 10 billion rupiah worth of grants and investment prizes. My sincere congratulations to all 9 teams for making it this far. We look forward to having the most impactful solutions joining the list of CIIC winners to create impact. And I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all our partners. Thank you to the Indonesian as well as Singapore government for your invaluable guidance and support. A special thank you to our investor partner, Cinemas Agri-Business and Food, and Skystar Capital. And always a big thank you to our partner, East Venture team, for co-organizing these wonderful events. And to our 50 ecosystem partners, your contribution have been essential in turning this vision into reality. As we move forward, let's continue to build the CIIC brand into a powerful launchpad for climate innovators, driving positive change for our planet and its people. Here's to the future of innovation, sustainability, and collaboration. May the best impactful solutions win today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Handila, for sharing your remarks, and thank you for allowing us to learn more about Temasek Foundation, about its role in CIIC 2025, and in tackling climate challenge all around the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the keynote speech. And for that, I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono, Vice Minister of Environment of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono.
Halo, selamat pagi, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wah, ada senior saya, Pak. Maaf, Pak. Izin. How much time do I have? Because here it says 1:03, so I was just wondering whether I only get 1 minute and 3 seconds to say. But thank you so much for the invitation, Ibu Afina. Terima kasih. And I wasn't expecting to give a speech in English. I thought this was supposed to be delivered in Bahasa, but I might switch here and there during my speech. And well, first of all, Pak Kwok, I would like to note the presence of some other people. Pak Kwok, my good friend, my best friend, and the ambassador of Singapore, my second home. And Pak Eng, Pak Theo, Pak Todung, ini ada kawan-kawan saya juga, Mas Darsono. Semoga udah langsung bisa jualan nih, Mas. Because we already signed this MRA with there a few days ago. Ada kawan-kawan Pak Irawan dari Moosa ya, Moosa or somewhere else? Moosa. Because you seem to have a lot of companies.
Today Moosa.
Today Moosa. So thank you so much for the invitation, and I think I just would like to note that you know, talking about climate change, talking about global warming in such a cold aircon room like this, I mean, it's hard to imagine that this is actually really something that is going on in our world today. But based on data, I just would like to say that 2024 last year was, I think, one of the hottest, or if not the hottest year ever recorded. If you, I think the average temperature in Indonesia, it was back in October 27, 2024. The temperature in Larantuka, NTT, reached 38 or 28, yeah, 24. So it was very, very hot. And I think it's going to be superseded with a even higher temperature, maybe one of these years before 2050. So I guess the threat of climate change, the threat of global warming is real. And there are some scientists who say that this is not something that is caused by natural phenomena. It's not because of El Nino, it's not because of volcano activity, solar cycles and all that, but the cause of this global warming, specifically in Indonesia, in several cities, based on the report by Climate Central in New Jersey, it is caused by humans, so by human activities. And you know, if we keep this going terus-terusan, then the effect would be destructive. I think an increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius and an increase of 2.0 Celsius from the time of the pre-industrial level, then you would have, or you would not have any ice at all in the Arctic in the summer once every 10 years. And this is not something that is minor, because if you have all the ice in the Arctic melt, then the sea level rise would be, I don't know, 7 meters maybe. And then there are some predictions that from ADB, from Maplecroft, from KKP, you know, all these pulau-pulau sedang, pulau medium-sized, small-sized islands in Indonesia would be gone by 2050. So the studies differ about how many, but it's all in the thousands for small islands, and then for medium size in the dozens. So that is real, and I think in our ministry, KLH has been trying to push our fight against climate change. But the thing is that I think the problem that we have, of course, again and again, it's funding. So there is this funding gap for climate, and the amount is huge, the gap that we have. I think, for example, the CPI, Climate Policy Initiative, said that the amount that we have for that we need to fund for climate is in the range of 6 to 8 trillion US dollar every year between now until 2030, and then it goes up beyond 2030 to about 10 trillion US dollars. But the whole world can only provide about 1.4 to 1.9 trillion every year. So that is a huge gap. What we can do and what is actually needed, if it were to be aligned with the 1.5 degrees Celsius as mandated by Paris. So in Indonesia, we need about 4,000 trillion rupiah to fight for climate. And I think, to be exact, in the report that we submitted to the UNFCCC back in 2021, the report is called Biannual Update Report. The third one, so it's BUR3, or BUR3, gitu ya. So in that report, we stated that we need about 4,600 trillion. I think in the range of 300 billion US dollar, something like that. And then we specify which one for mitigation, adaptation, and which one to satisfy for Article 15 of the Paris Agreement monitoring and all that. So 4,700 trillion to reach NZE. But our APBN, our government budget, can only provide for about maybe 76 trillion every year. And while we actually need in the range of 400 trillion every year, 470 trillion every year, and then we can only provide from APBN about 76. So the gap in the world is high. The gap in Indonesia is also high. And So basically, we need help from other sectors, and there are some international donors, and but the thing is that, well, sometimes these developed nations or the Annex 1 or specifically Annex 2 countries, they sometimes the pledge is here, but then the realization is here. So there is also the gap between what has been pledged and what has been delivered. Like back in Copenhagen 2009-13, during Copenhagen Accord, there was a pledge by the developed nations to help developing nations to fund for climate for the amount of $30 billion. But then after that, there was another pledge for 100 billion every year, but it hasn't been realized until 2021. So from 2009 until 2021, only 1 year that it was first 30 billion every year for 3 years, and then it goes up to, or it went up to 100 billion, but it's never been realized until 2021. So what has been pledged and what has been realized has also, you found a gap. And so I think, oh yeah, there's another pledge, the new new NCQG, new quantified qualified goal, something like that. Yeah, so there was a goal, another pledge by the developed nations to help the developing nations for 1.3 trillion per year, but it went down to 300 billion. But we are not sure whether that could be realized either. So what I want to say is that the point, the gap for climate funding is there. And then it's so hard for us to realize and to close that gap. No matter what, regardless of all the pledges that here and there, whatever has been made, the gap is still there and it's very hard to close the gap. So I guess what ISF Ventures and Temasek are doing now, it's, well, it should be highly appreciated. And I personally appreciate it because it is an effort that should be celebrated to close the gap. And the gap is huge. And I think without the support from international donors, without the support of Temasek or ISF Ventures and the like, we're not going to be able to close such a big gap. And governments alone, yet Indonesia or other developing nations and even developed nations, you know, we need to work hand in hand with you all. And I think another good thing that I notice is not only about the funding, but also ISF Venture and Temasek also push support for innovation. So those are the two things that we actually need. Innovation to tackle climate change, the problem of climate change, and an effort, a big effort to close such a big gap. So I guess I thank you again, ISF Venture, Ibu Afina, Pak Theo, Pak Eng, and also Pak Kwok for helping us save the world. Because I think without your contributions, we're not going to be able to be aligned with this 1.5 degree Celsius. So I guess that's all I can say. Seperti yang mungkin R.A. Kartini pernah bilang, habis gelap terbitlah terang, mohon maaf kalau ada yang kurang. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Dias untuk inspiring keynote speech-nya. Kami mohon Pak Dias untuk berkenan tetap di atas panggung. We are moving forward with the token of appreciation, and for that, we'd like to invite Ms. Afina Sugiarto to please come forward and present the token of appreciation to Pak Dias Hendro Priyono for delivering the keynote speech, and as a token of appreciation for the support he has given us in this proud day of the CIIC 2025 Grand Finale. Okay, let's commemorate this proud moment with a photo opportunity. All right, now for the second photo session, we like to also invite these distinguished guests to join us on stage. The Ambassador of the Republic of Singapore to the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Kwok Fook Seng, please join us on stage. Along with the Vice Chairman of Environmental Sector, the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Darsono Hartono. We also like to invite Mr. Theo Mingkian, Board Director of Temasek Foundation, with Mr. Ng Boon Hyung, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation, and also Mr. Bernard Tan, Chairman of Sustainability Committee, APP Sinarmas. And we also like to invite the judges of CIIC, Ms. Melissa Irene, Partner at East Ventures, Ms. Heng Lilang, Head Climate Livability of Temasek Foundation, Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director of Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food, and Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner of Skystar Capital, for a group photo opportunity. All right, ladies and gentlemen on the stage, let's look forward. Give us your best smiles to celebrate this momentous occasion and proud moment for all of us here for the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge Grand Finale. And to the rest of us who are not holding phones or cameras, let's give another round of applause for this amazing moment. All right, thank you very much, photographers. Thank you, ladies and gents. You may return to your seats. Enjoy the rest of the competition. Congratulations once again. All right, while we wait for everyone to take their seats again, we are now moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, because we are now diving into one of the core of CIIC 2025 Grand Finale.
Thank you, Pak Dias.
Bapak Dias Hendro Priyono, once again, thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak Pak Dias. All right, ladies and gents, we are now ready to go straight into one of the cores of the CIIC 2025 Grand Finale. Now, once again, I am truly honored to again introduce our distinguished panel of judges whose expertise and objectivity are essential on the stage of the competition. Let's hear it one more time for Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director of Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food. Terima kasih banyak, Pak, once again. Ms. Heng Lilang, Head Climate Livability Temasek Foundation. Ms. Heng Lilang, thank you so much once again. Ms. Melissa Irene, Partner at East Ventures. Ms. Melissa. And Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner of Skystar Capital. Terima kasih, Pak Abraham. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us turn our attention to the highlight of today's program, the highly anticipated pitching competition. Now, each of our 9 finalists will take the spotlight with 7 minutes to impress us all. Now, the 7 minutes will comprise of 5 minutes to do their pitch, followed by a 2-minute Q&A session with our judges. Now, the timer will begin the moment the first word is spoken. Now, to help them keep track, a bell alarm will serve as the signal. A single ring indicates 1 minute remaining. It will sound like this. There you go. Was that clear enough, finalists? All right. And a triple ring will mark the end of time. Can we hear it? The triple ring to mark the end of the time. There you go. A bit suspenseful while we wait for the alarm to ring, but that will be your signals. Now, presenters will be given an additional 10 seconds to wrap up their presentations and closing remarks. And during the Q&A, a second team member is welcome to join the presenter on stage. So finalists, remember, it is not only the strength of your ideas that matter, but also the precision of your timing. No pressure. We will begin the pitching competition with the energy transition track, and then continue with the sustainable agriculture track, and conclude with the circular economy track. So finalists, get ready. And audience, let's give the biggest round of applause for the CIIC 2025 Grand Finale. Now let's begin with the first track, and that is energy transition. Let's welcome our first finalist, Aslan Renewables. The stage is yours.
As the predominant source of renewable clean power, hydro has been our main source of energy security for over 150 years, and the great underwriter of clean tech innovation, providing stable power to balance the dry spells of solar and wind. But in Indonesia today, hydro makes up only 8% of the energy mix, and we know that 90% of potential hydro is still undeveloped. So why is that? Well, large dam construction costs have risen 400% in the past 2 decades. Changing water levels are making these investments more risky, and environmental regulation is blocking large-scale developments. All while energy demands continue to rise, and calls for power are being issued countrywide. Meanwhile, thousands of smaller dam sites like these are not producing power. These sites are control dams. There are irrigation canals and water control sites across the country that have almost identical flow rates. Across Indonesia today, we know that there are at least 22,000 of these sites. They're stranded assets representing a collective 170,000 tons of water flow every single second. Activating small sites like these holds the promise of terawatts of clean baseload, but there are challenges here that have kept utilities out of this game for decades. With modern costs of construction, how do you enable power from a small site? How do you scale an already complex permitting process to cover thousands of new dams? And then once in the market, how do you operate and manage all of those new power stations? 4 years ago, Aslan was founded with a mission to sustainably activate the small hydro space. Our team set out to design a product that could activate every small dam site with a single, repeatable design. And this movement in hydro productization has streamlined permitting, simplified installation, and massively disrupted hydro costing models. Let's take a look at environmental permitting. This is a process that typically takes 5 to 7 years per location, but that's because it's usually the last step. Aslan reversed that process, starting with environmental partners and regulators at the table. Successfully designing a product within a permitting envelope takes about 4 weeks to complete. Next, we went after cost efficiency. Traditional large hydro is case constructed, making timelines and costs unpredictable. Aslan focuses on a single modular product that attaches to existing infrastructure. A proprietary modular design was introduced, which allows the system to be scaled out to fit any waterway. Modules are installed using local teams and standardized civil costs, as well as no heavy machinery. Using this modular design and focusing on existing infrastructure, Aslan eliminated the need for excavation, concrete, and drain down. And like this, we reduced the hydro installation timeline from 3 years to 2 days. Last, we went after scalable operations. Using IoT protocols combined with generative AI, in 2025, Aslan systems became fully autonomous vehicles, self-regulating, self-monitoring, and even self-healing when necessary. Altogether, Aslan's designed a product that requires minimal regulatory permitting, is simple to install and manage, has near infinite capacity for scale, and is producing clean baseload at a cost on par with solar. In 2023, the company went to market, launching the product across Canada. In our first year, it secured $179 million in power purchase revenues and closed an oversubscribed equity round led by international deep tech firm Ontario Ventures and participation from Canada's leading energy funds. Seeking ideal markets to further expand scalable hydro, we pinpointed Indonesia based on local topography, water flows, and energy landscape. And already, the company has identified hundreds of potential locations that are perfect for this model. And with the support of local partnerships, we're on track to activate over 1.29 gigawatts of clean hydropower capacity. But of course, the most exciting part about this is using this technology that I've presented, we could do this in under 9 years. Unlocking scalability in this category of hydro means decarbonization of our most power-intensive projects. It means energy security for our most vulnerable and rural communities, and it means a massive wave of new domestic baseload for Indonesia's energy supply. What we've done here at Aslan is shown that small scalable hydro does work and that this company can lead it. Thank you very much.
All right, Aslan Renewable, thank you for your pitch. And now we proceed to the Q&A session. Would you like to have a team member joining you on stage?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, okay, we're loving the confidence. That means now we're going to have Miss Melissa Irene, partner at East Ventures, to ask your question to Aslan Renewables. The time will start when the judge start asking questions. So, Miss Melissa Irene, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the sharp presentations.
Thank you, Melissa.
Quick questions, since you are expanding to Indonesia, can you share more about like what are the risks you are foreseeing coming here and what are the mitigations you have? Secondly, whether you can share more about the partnerships that you have with the logos over there. Thank you.
Absolutely. I would say that the answer is, I can kind of answer them both together. The major risk that we have in expanding into Indonesia was not identifying great locations, was not even identifying kind of power purchase lines to revenue. It was actually in local engineering partners. In order to guarantee scalability for this model, we rely on third-party teams so that we don't do any construction or civil works ourselves. Instead, we document all of that and then empower local teams to get it done. So we've been working really hard to identify those engineering partnerships here in Indonesia across different regions that can support this type of work. That leads me into the partnerships, which have been really important to that end. So as we work with those partners, we're looking at, obviously, activations within their portfolios, but also using some of their engineering resources, even the developer resources that came from solar, to be applied here to small scalable hydro. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, is that all the question, Ms. Irene?
Yes.
All right, then that concludes the Q&A session for Aslan Renewables. Thank you very much. A big round of applause for Aslan Renewables, and thank you, Ms. Irene, for the question. Best of luck to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to the second finalist from the energy transition track. Please welcome Rekosistem.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Greetings all panel of judges and audiences, Mr. Vice Minister and also Mr. Ambassador. I am Angga Fritz from Rekosistem, and today I'm here to share with you our innovations under energy transition track called Unveil. But first, allow me to invite you to embark on a journey of imaginations that sadly has become a reality in Indonesia. Imagine a mountain of waste piled up in all landfills in every city of Indonesia. Black smoke rises as people are burning their waste in open fields. The air feels heavy and polluted, the same air that our children breathe when they go to school. Even myself, I'm still recovering from acute respiratory problem because of these ongoing pollution issues. So this is clearly not just a waste problem, but also a problem of climate and also health. So in Southeast Asia alone, we generate over 150 million tons of waste, and 70% of them is left unmanaged. And unfortunately, most of our industries are still reliant on the bad resources that emits pollutions. So here, we are facing double crisis, waste and energy. Unless if we can tackle both issues together, we will never be able to break the cycles. So at Rekosistem, we ask ourselves, what if the same waste that pollutes our cities, our rivers, our seas can also be in untapped energy potentials? So this is the vision behind Rekofuel. Rekofuel transforms low-value waste into a cleaner burning, solid fuel alternative engineered with AI, IoT, sensors, and also full traceabilities. So we are turning waste into reliable, renewable resources, batch by batch. And with this CIIC grant, we will invest in CAPEX and also into build our Rekofuel system and key missionaries, accelerating our path from innovations to large-scale impacts. Let's see how it works.
Emissions are treated through a two-step scrubber and a filter system to remove air that is Finally, the refined material is pressed into a compact liquid. Each batch is tracked in real time through our integrated dashboard, ensuring clear traceability, consistent quality, and supporting operators with data-driven insights. With this model, we process 1,000 kilograms of fixed waste per hour, producing 2.2 tons of workable fuel. That means a rigorous identification that processes 2 million of waste diverted from landfills, 8,050 megatons of CO2 produced from landfill methane, and 1,450 of coal waste in industry. This isn't just a plan, it's already scaled.
So you might be wondering, how is Rekofuel is different from others, especially from other RDF or SRF? First, we use AI-driven quality monitoring instead of manual inspections with accuracy of over 80%. Second, we provide full digital traceabilities, so brands, regulators, and industries can also see every batch's footprint. And third, we're also aligning ourselves with national strategy project in renewable energy and climate policies, making it scalable and future-ready. Not only that, Rekosistem also has a proven track market record. First, we have partnered up with cement kilns and also PLN as a power plant to contribute to the 30% target of co-firing in coal power plant. Second, we also have collaborated with leading brands, already implementing their EPR system with Rekosistem. And third, we also have secured over 10-year-long contracts with township developers, over 11,000 houses, and also public spaces to ensure consistent feedstock. So let's talk about impact now. You will see waste turn into energy. You will also inhale or breathe cleaner air. And of course, you will see inclusivity and community empowerment. And we believe that we can fast-track this impact, reaching full-scale operations in less than a year after installations. At Rekosistem, we consist of a team that is passionate to accelerate these energy transitions through Rekofuel. And Rekofuel is more than just a technology. It is a bridge between waste and clean energy. And as a climate tech company with expertise and experience in waste management and also tech-driven solutions, we believe that Rekofuel is a cost-efficient solution to also contribute to better impact and also sustainable-based operations. Thank you very much.
All right, Rekosistem, the 5-minute time for your pitch has ended, which means we're now moving on to your Q&A session.
Yes.
Would you like to have a team member joining you on stage?
I think I would like to invite our adjunct here, corporate strategist.
So please.
So this project belongs to both of us. Your mic.
All right, for the question, we'd like to invite Ms. Hang Lilang, Head Climate Livability Temasek Foundation, to ask a question to Rekosistem. Go ahead, Ms. Hang Lilang.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you so much.
Your pilot system operates at 30 kilogram per hour, and your proposed Rekofuel units target 1,000 kilogram per hour.
Yeah.
What key technical or operation risk do you foresee when you scale up to full capacity? And what contingency measures are put in place to ensure stable output and consistent fuel quality?
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. So currently, we also already serve in Surabaya for our material recovery facilities. So we already have established a facility and some of the basic machineries. So we are ready to scale up this solution, basically. And currently, we definitely have even over 2 tons of waste already per day in that particular facilities. So we believe that we will not have any problems in the supplies of feedstock. Meanwhile, regarding the output, we believe that with our AI system that is being trained over time, we will be able to see as well where there are any errors or maybe like also to lessen the dependency towards the field operators. So that's how we see that our solutions will be able to tackle those issues that you mentioned before.
I also want to ask about your AI trained. How do you validate across different waste streams and regions?
Yeah.
And what safeguards exist to prevent data bias and misclassification that could affect emission tracking?
Okay, in terms of waste sources that is coming to our facilities, we have 3 waste sources. First is we call it as B2B2C, which are the waste coming from township developers or maybe municipalities. Second, we also have sources from our own B2C, which are the waste stations that we have established in over 12 locations. And not only that, we also partner up with the informal sectors, such as the waste banks, waste scavengers, and also the junk shops. So we have streamlined all those waste sources based on the 3 categories, and we believe we will not be overlapping those data in our system because it's already happening.
If I have time, I ask the last question about your agreement sign.
Yes.
And what are your key terms that determine your commercial viability?
Okay, you want to answer? Okay, so basically we have contract already with the Indocement as a cement kiln and also the PLN as a power plant. Of course, it's different in terms of the requirement of the quality. For example, for the PLN, they require a higher calorific value. So basically the rate is around like 20 to 25 US dollar per ton. Meanwhile, other than that, we also have partnered up with the EPR that adds up to the 200 and to 250 ton, 200 US dollar per ton. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes the Q&A session for Rekosistem. Thank you so much. You may leave the stage, and best of luck to you.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to the 3rd and final finalist for the energy transition track. Please welcome onto the stage, Incy Tech.
Hello. Can you put this to a side? Yeah. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we at Incy Tech welcome you to the new era of energy. Indonesia today faces an ambitious energy goal, 100 gigawatts of new solar power by 2030. In reality, less than 1 gigawatt of its electricity is produced by solar. Unfortunately, we'll never be able to meet these goals because the land demands faced by solar puts us into a terrible dilemma. Either we sacrifice the land the size of the entire Jakarta, central Jakarta, just to build these large solar farms, or we keep polluting our remote islands with fossil fuels. We believe there is a third solution, and that solution isn't on land, but in water that connects every single one of Indonesia's 17,000 islands. Introducing the thermal floater, our floating renewable solution that leverages the temperature difference above and below water to create electricity more efficiently than solar panels. And unlike solar panels, our technology works on a completely different mechanism. What we do is we concentrate the sunlight using a magnifying glass, heating up a plate to temperatures over 600 degrees. And on the other side of a device is our heat sink that stays immersed in the water, providing cooling to the device under 50 degrees. This temperature difference across our proprietary semiconductors is what allows us to create electricity of up to triple the efficiency of solar panels using just these small modules. This electricity can then be harnessed by the modular casing, which allows similar devices to be connected together. We have validated our technology through simulations, proof of concepts, and experiments, and we have even built our own custom components of our lenses and semiconductors that be the best technologies in the market. And all these components together are held together by the modularity of a device, which allows similar devices to be connected together in an array for very easy deployment and scalability. These arrays can be formed in any size and can easily be connected to a nearby floating grid or an easily onshore grid to supply power for various users. But just to put into perspective how efficient these devices are, take an example of a single-family home. A typical single-family home consumes 33 kilowatt hours of electricity, all which needs to be powered by massive 9 solar panels. But if we do this with our devices, we can do it in 1/3 the area, and that too at a fraction of the cost. Because these thermal floaters can produce triple the efficiency of solar panels while still being 25% cheaper in the long term and providing a carbon payback period of just 4.7 months as compared to 1 year for solar panels. And these advancements are what allows us to offset 1.6 gigatons of carbon dioxide emissions in the next 20 years. And over these years, we want to target the regions that need this impact. Specifically, we want to be targeting the regions where these devices can perform at their peak. And within that, the businesses, the governments, and the power utilities that will be able to deploy these devices. We have already started talking to some of these companies and have gotten letter of intents to perform pilots in both Singapore and Indonesia. And to these businesses, governments, and power utilities, we'll be providing a mixed energy model. Energy as service, where we deploy these devices ourselves and then sell off the energy generated, as well as a leasing model, where we lease off these devices to these people and help them with maintenance and installation of these devices over the years. And over these same years, we have worked with our customers to figure out the main pain points in this industry and build these prototypes along with them. We have also, our next few goals is to get regulatory certifications and then go for manufacturing and commercialization by the start of 2027. But to get to that commercialization scale, we need to establish ourselves as the key players in this region, where we want to do a pilot to be established as a known player. And for that pilot, we'll need your help. This pilot will be brought out by a team that understands this problem the best and combines experience in various areas. I bring in experience in sustainable device development, and our leadership team combines experience from MIT PhDs, specializing in thermal engineering and fluid mechanics, complemented by research in nanomaterials and optics. We are also supported by co-founders like Dr. Yu Shen, who have successfully founded companies, raised venture capital, is an ex-venture capitalist himself, and mentors at programs like the MIT Sandbox. Together, we have a good idea, a good pathway to get to our vision, and a good team. But we'll need your help to get there. And I hope all of you will be with us on this journey to bring clean, renewable energy to billions around the world. Thank you.
All right, Incy Tech, now that your pitch is over, do you have a team member joining you on stage?
Dr. Yushin.
All right, then we go to the Q&A session. Oh, there you are. Come on. Here we go. Now we can continue with the Q&A session. And for that, we'd like to invite Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner at Arukah Capital, to please ask your question to Incy Tech.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you very much for the excellent presentation. I have a few questions. I think first of all, how long did you guys take to develop this? And is it completely original or is built upon, an existing technology that's been available elsewhere?
So we have worked over the last 3.5 years to build this technology, and all the components use our own proprietary materials and our own proprietary designs. None of it has been an existing component, so all the components have been developed by our own.
So I just want to add a little bit that Spurge is one of our brightest students at NUS. He lived through this problem of energy poverty, and that's why he started this company. And as the Vice Minister has, in his very inspiring speech, has articulated, it's not about the best solution. In competitions like this, it's not about the best solution for all problems. It's about the right solution for the right problem. And Indonesia, as we know, as he has alluded, is the world's largest archipelago country, has over 17,000 islands. And that is why our solution, the thermal floater, is very suited for this problem statement, right? It doesn't use up valuable land. It is modular and it's scalable, and it can essentially be deployed anywhere in any location within Indonesia. That's why we are very interested to test out and do this pilot here.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Maybe next question is that I would imagine this working in, calmer bodies of water, right? Maybe on top of reservoir dams or lakes or this kind of areas. But would it be possible eventually to also deploy it on top of rivers or oceans? Any thoughts on that?
So we're currently developing this for more volatile bodies like rivers and oceans. Since they're more corrosive, we don't aim for that right now. Our main goal right now is to deploy with dams and reservoirs in calmer bodies, but we want to start pivoting to rivers and oceans.
And just to add on, I know the time is up. We are doing advanced simulation in ocean bodies and simulators at NUS, and we hope to be able to address that in the near to medium term.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Incy Tech, for your spirited presentation and for answering the questions. You may leave the stage. The best of luck to you. And thank you, Pak Abraham Hidayat, for your questions. All right, ladies and gents, in a moment we'll start the pitching competition for the Sustainable Agriculture track. The same rules apply as in the previous track. Each team will get a 5-minute time to deliver their pitch, followed by a 2-minute Q&A session with the judges. So now let's invite the first finalist from the Sustainable Agriculture track to deliver their pitch. Everyone, please welcome Moosa Genetics.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Daddy. I'm a veterinarian. So I work with cows, so that's why I wear this hat. I'm a cowboy, yeah. So Indonesia, I'm here to tell you a story and invitation for everybody. Here's the story. Indonesia is on its way to 2045 Indonesia Emas. We need a lot of proteins. We need more milk. So the government actually has put plan to import 1 million more cattle to Indonesia in 5 years. We spend 12.8 trillion rupiah every year to buy the milk from everywhere. So what is the challenges? The Moosa Genetics, actually, the group of scientists, we have engaged with, now in Indonesia, we have more than 500,000 of cattle, dairy cattle in Indonesia. And we have engaged with more than 85% of the dairy cooperative in Indonesia. So basically, we are representing more than 85% of cattle in Indonesia because we have engagement with them. So the problem is when the government wants to import a lot of cattle in Indonesia, everybody loves milk. Okay, the government loves milk, everybody loves milk, even my coffee loves milk. Okay, we put milk in everywhere. So the problem is every single cow will be able to produce 82 kilograms of methane emission annually. So potentially in Indonesia, we contribute 44 million of methane emission annually. The problem is when the government wants to import a lot of cows, we will have a lot of milk. It's a good news for us. But the problem is the more milk is also creating more risk for environment. Contamination of the river, contamination of the soil, and also it means we will have risk to increase the methane emission every year, double, 3 times, 4 times in 5 years. So we came up with the solutions because Moosa Genetics is basically a genomic-based company with focusing on improving genetics of Indonesian dairy cattle in Indonesia. If you see this small thing, can you see this small thread? This is the extracted DNA that we work together every day. We found that this small DNA will represent the traits of the cattle that in the future. So we are able, with our expertise, professors, PhDs, we are able to identify which gene that relevant for Indonesian dairy cattle. for tropical conditions. And what we found is we create some small project in the last couple of years in 11 different areas throughout Indonesia. And we found we work together with all of the dairy cooperative in Indonesia, research center and embryo center. And we found that now we have Indonesian dairy cows production pattern. Even we found that we have Indonesian genomic breeding value system that never been done before in Indonesia. So why we do this? We working together with veterinarians, with the farmers, we do genetic selection, we do precision farming consultation, we do the breeding service through our dairy farmers in Indonesia. And then what the result? Now we can identify which gene which is relevant for Indonesia. Now we can find which system of breeding solution that relevant for Indonesia. And the result, we double the income for the farmers more than 2 times for Indonesian dairy farmers. And we're proud of this because now we can improve the income for the dairy farmers and even the government actually recognize this. So if we're lucky today, we have put a project of research for the whole year research, working together with all of the dairy industry, creating the best super cow with low emission, identify the gene, and then implement it to Indonesian dairy farmers. So what we want to do is we want to ask everybody to join us to produce more milk for Indonesia with low methane emission. Thank you.
Thank you, Moosa Genetics, for your utterly informative presentation. I hope everyone caught that. Now, would you like to have a team member to join you for the Q&A
Yes, I would like
session?
to ask Professor Sigit. Professor Sigit, our chief geneticist of Moosa Genetics. He's the mastermind behind all of these genetic things. Okay, thank you.
All right, now we can move on to the Q&A session, and Ms. Hang Lilang, Head Climate Livability Temasek Foundation, will ask the question. Go ahead, Ms. Hang Lilang.
Very interesting presentation. But first, I asked about your AI selection for low methane cattle. So what's expected reduction in terms of methane emission per cow compared to maybe the average of cattle in Indonesia? And how do you measure or validate these reductions?
Okay, Professor Sigit.
So we were going to use the methane analysis systems, which is calculate the emissions from each cattle, each head using the system. Then after that, we can predict how many methanes can be produced per 1 cow according to, in the difference of different genetics. That's the first strategy for selecting different cattle which is produce less methane. Second one, then we would like to identify the microbiology inside the human, the rumen of the animals, and then we will try to give interventions to lowering the methane productions by feed additive, which is with this feed additive, we will have a product, another product that lowering the methane emission from the methane production in the bacteria. That's 2 scenarios that we are going to use to reduce the methane.
So my second question is, what is strategy for you to convince the adoption by the smallholder farmers? And how do you demonstrate economic returns to them?
I can answer that. So we actually have a very good engagement with all of the dairy cooperative in Indonesia, which representing almost 400,000 of cattle of Indonesia. And we have a field support team that educate the farmers on weekly basis throughout Indonesia. So we have done this test for a couple of years. We have convinced the farmers before. Now we want to add more service to that service. Okay, so the farmers itself has engaged and aware about this genomic test already. So what we want to do is we want to put more service for that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Moosa Genetics, according to our calculation, your time is up. So thank you very much for your time. I'm enjoying the cow puns. Best of luck to you, Moosa Genetics. You may leave the stage. All right, ladies and gents, let's continue now with the second finalist from the Sustainable Agriculture track. Please welcome onto the stage Arukah Capital.
morning. Selamat pagi. My name is Nicole, and I'm honored to be representing Arukah at today's CIIC challenge. So to set the context, let's first start with the challenge. So every year, Indonesia faces a multi-million ton challenge. Agriculture waste is burned, and many people participate in slash and burn out of economic necessity. 80% of the population then also has to breathe in unclean air, and this is something that we think can actually be transformed into a valuable resource if processed properly. And this will be able to allow us to turn an environmental liability into something of rural prosperity. At Arukah, we believe that there is a solution that can offer both and serve both people and planet. Arukah was actually developed with the main goal in mind of poverty alleviation. The meaning of Arukah itself stands for complete healing and restoration, and it was founded right after the pandemic in 2022 in response to the economic dislocation that was resulted from the pandemic itself. So we believe that in order to be able to do this, there is a solution to be able to channel global climate income to smallholder farmers themselves. And we found this solution in bankable biochar high-quality projects, which use proven technology and de-risk technology, as well as a fair and equitable revenue sharing model to be able to get a premium for these carbon credit projects themselves. And the time for this is correct. Demand for global biochar is accelerating, and it has actually been dominating the CDR market with 2024 and 2025 deliveries. But at the same time, there's a huge untapped resource in the global south, with agriculture waste being currently burnt and not processed in the most efficient way. But at the same time, despite this demand, many projects struggle with quality. And there's a huge gap in the current market. So at Arukah, we believe that we can develop a high-quality set of projects to meet 1 million tons of CO2 removal by 2030 with unique project design. Firstly, we have Global South-friendly financing model, which essentially reduces the capex required upfront to allow more participants to take place and participate in the projects. Second, we believe in revenue sharing across the board as an important part of the project design, and we commit to having 50% of the carbon revenue shared with farmers over the lifetime of the project. And lastly, we want to make sure that we secure the physical offtake of biochar itself by developing local customized fertilizer and soil amendments that are able to be designed specifically for the local cash crops. And what this does, starting with waste, is to maximize impact at every step of the way. Arukah has an internally developed DMRV system called Carbon Cast, which allows us to track and verify our impact in 3 main categories. Firstly, carbon removal. Using global registries such as Puro, as well as third-party verification, we can ensure that the amount of carbon that we are removing every year is verifiable and traceable. Secondly, in terms of agriculture yield impact, as mentioned before, we do make sure that we have locally designed fertilizers that are designed for local cash crops. And we conduct fertilizer trials with our local partners in order to make sure that they are appropriate before we engage the larger group of smallholder farmers. And lastly, in terms of digital payments, we make sure we use digitally licensed local payments in order to pay the farmers directly for their contributions. And this 50% to farmers matters, because what we've found is that it's required in order to sustain performance over the lifetime of these projects, which can last up to 10 years. And farmers are not just food producers, they're a key part of the climate solution, and we think that they deserve to be compensated fairly for this as well. And we've done this before. We've opened the largest biochar plant in Southeast Asia in March, and we've received a recent investment-grade estimated rating designed in a way to make sure we meet the requirements of global buyers. There's a huge market that is to be tapped into, and we believe that in Indonesia, it can be part of the pipeline that we hope to scale across Southeast Asia. So for each impact, essentially, each plant can remove about 10,000 tons of removal every year. And what this could look like in Indonesia is a translation into a 30% increase in their minimum wage by participating in the plant in Indonesia. So what we could do with this in terms of overall contributions is 2 things. improve our generative AI like local language model for incorporation with the farmers, and also facilitate a Sharia compliant facility to be able to convey our impact to these communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Arukah Capital. Your 5-minute time to deliver your pitch has ended, so now we move on to your Q&A session. Do you have anyone to join you on stage? No. All right, then let's move on to the Q&A session, and we'll have Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food, to ask the question. Go ahead, sir.
I have two questions, which is how you do it and intellectual property. So at Arukah, your unique value proposition lies in engaging with the local farmers. You're allocating 50% of your revenue to these farmers. As your projects scale up, and how do you track and allocate this carbon credit revenue among individual farmers, given that your sales are blended across participants? And then the second question is regarding your technology, which is a digital MRV. Do you or have you secured any patent regarding to that proprietary technology? Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. So with regards to how we do this, actually one of the key parts of our model is actually partnering with a local agribusiness. So that actually, I think, relates to the second question in terms of the ability to aggregate the local supply chain. So we rely very much on our local partner to be able to ensure that we are able to access the minimum amount of feedstock that we need for our capacity, as well as then being able to access the local communities. So we've also, I think I mentioned briefly, a chatbot. So for example, with the end application, for a farmer to be able to benefit from the carbon revenue over time, they would need to say, for example, take a photo of the application of the fertilizer, which is a key part of the carbon credit project design. That would then get sent to us via Telegram or the respective chatbot, and from that we would then compensate them directly to their bank account in terms of like digital payments. So the 50% of carbon revenue would actually be over the lifetime of the project, and it would be dependent on the individual farmer's contribution. Say we go to the other end of the spectrum of the supply chain, we are also working with aggregating like waste. And so from the waste provision from the individual farmers, they will get compensated at market value or a particularly agreed value, which would then contribute to the 50% revenue. So in a way, we're trying to create a market from agriculture waste and then be able to involve the participants in being able to share as part of the carbon revenue. For DMRV, what we have is actually, we work through existing information already, but what we're doing is we're structuring the data in a way that will be able to then develop and make sure we analyze it properly. So there's no currently like IP that is related to it, but it's how we're structuring the data as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pak David, for your question. And thank you, Arukah Capital.
Thank you.
That's your time. All right, ladies and gents, we now move on to the third and last finalist for the Sustainable Agriculture track. Please welcome Gokomodo.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Whitney from Gokomodo. So before I jump into this one, I'll tell you about my weekend. So on Sunday, I got a call from the legal team. Who wants to be called on by legal team on Sunday? That's a red alert. So it turned out we got a report, a police report by the farmer, Padayat. So he accused Gokomodo retail stores of selling fake products. We were surprised. So the legal team just goes straight away and then ask, what is happening? And then it turned out Padayat and the farmers group so used to have a fake products that they believe the original product is fake. So that's fact finding that I just had along with my 10 years of it being in agri-industry. So as you see, like we have a total farmers in Indonesia almost about 17 million. And then at the moment right now, we're only focusing Klinik Tani to West Kalimantan. Let's just step into like 5.1% or about 800,000 farmers. So the farmers problem in West Kalimantan, we have a survey in GoComart customers, it is shown that the way they do the farming behavior or like farming practices, it's so inefficient that the yield and income is even lessened by almost 60%. And they, of course, they will create more emission, it's up to 45%. So with Klinik Tani, we create a closed-loop system for sustainable farming. Pak Dayat wants to buy an agri-input, it's sure original and authentic, they can go to Gokomart. At the moment, right now, Gokomart had 40,000 customers. And then if he wants to have personal assistant to help him, guide him for the farming guide, for farming practices, and then he can have an access to through the Gokomodo app. We will provide the smart checklist for him to have the recommendations. And if he is not sure whether or not being sustainable is helping his yield and income, he can just see the demo plotting. So about the demo plotting, in here you can see we do the demo plot started in July 2025, and it is already showed an ongoing result, which the yield and income has an increase about 15% more than other plots. And for the waste, for the carbon emission saving, it's even saving almost about 50%. It's only for the how they use the water consumption and agri-input consumption and the checklist that they need to do. You can see in the video how manual and how inefficient they are when they do the watering and when they apply the fertilizer. So by Sustainable Farming Guide, we provide two solutions. First, the guide plan, it's just a click to buy. So whenever they open and then they see like, oh, today I have to fertilize. How many fertilizer that I need to put? Like what's the volume? And then it can show directly to the app. And then he can click to buy easier. He can just like pick up to Gocomart or it can get delivered from the Gocomart. And then with this, we can take a rate like 5% commission to have Klinik Tani being sustainable later. And then for Pak Dayat, if he use it, he can track his carbon emissions tracker. And then because we have the data of transaction and his behavioral farming. And then second, we have the agronomy services, which is in-app consultation. And we have the 24/7 FANIA, our AI-generated digital agronomist. So this is the target and timeline. We are not piloting, we are start to scale, which is we start with 400 meters demo plot area for corn. That's currently now impacted about 20 farmers. And then with the grant, we want to scale in 2.5 years with 250 times more. And then with the revenue you see in here, we can get the commission and then this agronomy services fee, and we can project be sustainable in semester 2 of 2027. The first 2 years will go heavily on tech, on building the AI and building the tech and also the demo plotting. And in here, you can see the long-term impact that we can create. If we have 10% of the Indonesian farmers, we can have 500,000 of farmers joining us. So like Pak Hendro Priyono said before, the climate challenge that we have lays on the humans. And in here, we believe with Klinik Tani, we have the ABC method, which is the agronomist, buy on click, and carbon tracker. It creates a closed loop for advice, action, and measurable sustainable data that help Pak Dayat not to become only sustainable farmers, but climate-able farmers. Thank you so much.
All right, Gokomodo, that concludes your pitch. We now move on to Q&A session. Do you have anyone joining you on stage?
I'll get the man of the agronomist, Unan. So he's behind the agronomist and the FANIA. Can join on stage.
All right, now that the team is complete, we'll have Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner, Arukah Capital, to ask the questions to Gokomodo.
Hi guys, thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I only have one question. So over the years, we've seen many companies, many startups trying to tackle the same problem, right? Increasing yields for the farmers. I think a lot of them have failed. So I think my question is, what are the main learning points from other people who have tried it before? And what do you think you can do differently to do it better, yeah, and to help farmers in the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. So the difference between us and then the other one is actually first we are ready to scale because at the moment Gokomart is still increasing for the customers, and then they are actually using our apps. That's the thing. To get farmers to use the app or to get the digital penetration is really hard. And then at the moment right now, our monthly active user it's about 30% of the monthly active user, but the total transacting members is 80%. So that's a really different where we can incentivize easily, and then we can get them easily to use our apps, and then we can create the behavior. And then the consultation itself, we have the farmers gathering every month, and then it has a lot of farmers coming in, and then they like our Gokomart. Because you can imagine in West Kalimantan, they don't have a lot of entertainment or something. So they like the Gokomart to go there, and then they actually learn a lot from the agronomists. And then I think that's what's the difference, because we already have the community inside the Gokomart itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No more questions from Pak Abraham? All right then. Thank you very much, Gokomodo, for your pitch. That's all your time on stage. Hopefully you'll harvest good results at the end of the competition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have now completed the energy transition and sustainable agriculture tracks, which means we are halfway through the pitching competition. And now we will continue with the next session, of course, following the same rules as the previous tracks. So now let's invite the first finalist from the circular economy track to deliver their pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Midwest Composites.
Good morning and selamat pagi. My name is Seydou Raj. I am the CEO and founder of Midwest Composites. So I was 16 years old when I first learned about composites. So I went to the States, I got my undergrad in composite materials, my master's in biocomposites. Then I worked for 3 years for a tier 1 OEM manufacturer where we service customers like Caterpillar, John Deere, Siemens Transportation, and Kikishario. Here I am today to tell you guys about my startup, Midwest Composites, where we sustainably re-engineer materials. So the problem and opportunity that we see, massive underutilized palm oil and kanaf in Southeast Asia. This could be used as biomass in automotive materials. There's a very weak reduce, reuse, and recycling, plus vehicle end-of-life regulations in Southeast Asia and the world, which produces large tons of waste. Western OEMs currently are now moving into sustainable materials such as flax and hemp, which is increasing the prices, creating a need for Asian feedstocks. So why biocomposites? You get a 40% weight reduction compared to conventional metals. It increases your fuel efficiency, decreases your lifetime maintenance cost, and your greenhouse gas emissions. So planes are using about 50% advanced composites at this point, whereas cars, buses, and trains are only using 6%. This is the gap that we want to take advantage of, especially when the automotive and mass transit sector wants more and more sustainabilities driven by the EV sector. So our natural fiber solution, we have woven textile mats that are available in kanaf and jute. They're lower density than carbon, glass, and metals, so it makes the parts lightweight, 5 times cheaper. We also have a thermoplastic pellet, which usually we mix with agro waste, 25%, palm oil, green tea, kanaf, and jute. We have enhanced vibration and dampening properties, and you increase your impact and stiffness. So there are other biocomposite startups in the world, Inca Renew Tech in Canada, Ecoa by Lingrove in America, Becomp, the market leaders in Switzerland. So they all basically are using hemp and flax. They have about 300 to 400 tons of this annually available, and their prices are between 25 to 30 euros per meter square. Then there's us, Midwest Composites, here in Asia. We focus on kanaf and jute. We have 10 times more availability of materials, and we're about 5 to 6 times cheaper than them. So ongoing POCs that we have at the moment, we're working together with Murakami Kaimedo, a tier 1 site mirror cover manufacturer in Japan. We have an MOU signed with Terradrone Japan and Indonesia to develop palm, kanaf, and jute biocomposites for their drones. We're working together with Fujiname to develop kanaf and green tea-based gear shifters. And in India, where we're also having some traction, we're working together with TVS Racing, Mahindra & Mahindra, and Ashok Leyland. So the market size for automotive engineered plastics are 34 billion in 2025. India and Japan, where we're getting quite a lot of traction, is a 6.3 billion market. Assuming all the early adopters we can talk to, 850, and we're aiming to capitalize 5% of that, so 42 million. So the project that we're doing for Indonesia is palm oil biocomposites for automotive. So there's about 40 million tons of EFB waste produced annually in Indonesia. This is being burnt and creating all these kind of environmental problems. So we want to replace that with EFB waste. So about 25% of that we can change, so 50,000 tons. In Indonesia alone, there's about 200 tons of plastic that is being used in the automotive sector. Imagine the rest of the world. So then after you make these parts, we can actually recycle them with our partner, Urban Rig, a Japanese provider, who actually can use pyrolysis to convert these into either biochar or fuel. So this is the impact that we can do. We can save 95 million USD in savings because of the usage of EFB. We get to divert 50,000 tons from landfills, and we get to reduce 100,000 tons of CO2, create some rural jobs in the beginning, and 100% circular economy alignment. So this is our team. I've been doing this for about 20 years of my life. Our CTO, Dr. Guru, has about 30 years experience with Indian OEMs in America. Dr. Venkata, our R&D officer, has 20 years experience researching in US and Australia. Yoshito Denawa is helping us with our Japanese entry. Mr. Venu Kutimalai is actually having discussions for us with Airbus at the moment. So these are some of the notable recognitions that we've had. We were Startup World Cup Malaysia's representative in San Francisco. We've been featured in Nikkei Asia, Circular Valley Germany, and Startup Germany. We also won awards from UNDP and AREA, and we were actually in the composites world because of winning the Makichale Award in Japan. So this is our vision for the future, where natural fiber composites built by us will be used in space travel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Midwest Composites. That's the end of your pitch. We now move on to the Q&A session. Do you have a team member joining you?
Nope.
All right, now let's go straight to the Q&A session. We'd like to ask Ms. Hang Lilang, Head Climate Livability Temasek Foundation, to ask the questions. Go ahead, Ms.
Thank you very much for your presentation. How have your palm fiber composite performed under humidity, UV exposure, and temperature cycle? And what's your pathway towards ASTM or ISO certification?
Yeah. So currently, right now, after we dry them up and we mix them together with the ABS or PP, we're actually doing the testing. But actually, when you're worried about thermal, humidity is a little bit of a problem because natural fibers actually like to absorb water. But actually, when you mix it together with ABS or PP, you don't see that problem so much. So right now, when we're working with the Japanese and the Indians, we're working on the certifications for ASTM and stuff. But for palm oil stuff, we're banking on that to be done here in Indonesia right now through this program.
And a certification?
So part of that, when we raise the money, we make the materials and then we get them tested because that's the only way we'd be able to sell to the OEMs here or overseas.
Can you share a little bit about your palm biomass quality can vary for source, right? And processing methods.
Yep.
So how can you standardize the fiber quality and resins formulation to ensure you can produce it and at industrial scale, especially also expanding beyond markets for Indonesia and Malaysia?
Yeah, so right now we take the EFB, where you grind them down into basically powder. That's what you're going to dry up, and then you compound it together with the polypropylene, polyethylene, or ABS. So through the processing process, you actually make sure that it's uniform, because if not, you wouldn't even be able to compound it. So after that, we get the testing done, and that's how we move into the OEM. See, India is quite interested in palm oil-based stuff, so that's where we see an entrance point to get into.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for the questions, and thank you to Midwest Composites for your pitch. Best of luck to you. All right, now let's invite the next finalist from the Circular Economy track to deliver their pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maritime Nusantara Lestari Foundation.
Hi everyone, I'm Elkana from Zero Waste Hub, where we're transforming shell waste into valuable bioproducts through community-based processing hub. In Indonesia coastal communities, one of the biggest problems that all we can see and smell is waste. And one of them is shell waste. Every year, Indonesia's seafood industry produces a huge amount of shell waste. And around 200 million kilogram shells per year comes from crab and shrimp. And this all causes millions of CO2, millions of ammonia into the air, and in total, this is the same as 50,000 city bus that we all can carry. We can carry all the people in Bahrain. Amazing. So as you can see, this is the hidden cost of waste. And as Indonesia develop its blue circular economy goals, we think that these local innovations is needed to redefine waste into resource and bring sustainable industry for the people. So this was before in Java, one of our zero waste hub, and this was after. So our solution is turning shell waste into chitin and chitosans, and it's scalable. So zero waste hub is community-based processing hubs, and we can find crab and shrimp shells everywhere. And crustacean shells is contain chitin, mineral, protein. So this is the process. Currently, we are processing shell waste into powder. So 1,000 kilograms of powder, it's worth about 3 million rupiahs. And from 1,000 kilograms of powder, we can get 200 kilograms of chitin, which worth about 166 million rupiahs. From 200 kilograms of chitin, we can get 160 kilograms of chitosans, which worth 265 million rupiahs. And from chitosan, we can find everyday use products such as beauty care, cosmetics, pharma, agriculture, and many more. So global chitosan market is increasing. In 2022 was 11.2 billion US dollar and projected increase nearly 19% by 2032. And most of it produced in the APAC region. Indonesia, we have abundant supply, low cost of processing, and we close to the major buyers. But surprisingly, we still import 5,000 to 6,000 tons of chitosans every year. Zero Waste Hub, we already produce 152 tons powder and distributed locally and overseas as fertilizer and feed. And we work closely with local communities, and by this project, we already reduced 60 tons of CO2 emissions, and we also bring local communities with us to planting mangrove across our hubs. So our project is recognized and supported by government, NGOs, and private sectors. Zero Waste Hub was launched by Vice Minister of Trade in 2022. So in 2022 to 2023, we start our project in Java and Kalimantan. And this year, we start to expanding to build mini processing for chitosans. And in the next 2 years, we are planning to scale up to 10 facilities across Indonesia. By that, collectively, we can produce 3,000 tons shell process as a powder, and then we can cut off nearly 1,000 CO2 emissions and engaging up to 1,000 people in the coastals. So by winning this competition, this is our resource and allocations. Our target is produce 200 and 250 kilograms powder per day, and estimated turnover per year is 8 to 10 billion rupiahs. This is our team that experience in sustainability, fisheries, technology, marine researcher, academicians, and supply chain and distribution. So Zero Waste Hub is not just a recycling project. It's a blue economic in actions. It's connect environment, innovations, and inclusions. We are helping Indonesia meet its circular economic goals by 2030. And this proves that small local processing can bring a national big impact. And by turning seafood waste into bioproducts, we help local community to prosper and protect the planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maritime Nusantara Lestari Foundation, for your pitch. We now move on to your Q&A session. Do you have anyone joining you on stage?
Yes, Rudy. We also bring some samples to show you.
All right, let's proceed with the Q&A session. We'd like to ask Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food, to ask the question to Maritime Nusantara Lestari Foundation.
Okay, again, my question will always be on how do you do it and intellectual property. So how do you foresee the scalability of your project, given that collecting crab shells can be a labor-intensive process and it may be challenging to secure sufficient volume for large-scale production? And the second, do you have any patents or intellectual property rights regarding your process or technology? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. The first question, how we secure and make sure that our supply is sustained. So currently we have strategic partner such as processor in seafood industry that they produce seafood like crab and shrimp, which their waste is just thrown away. So we can collect the crab shells from our partners. So for this project, it's not like a food processing company that use labors too much to process all the kind of their products, because this zero waste hub, it's very eco-friendly, and we invite local communities to help us, and we have like drying house, oven, so it's not like put pressure on the local communities to get the supply. And the second question, for chitin and chitosan, it's already have a lot of research, and for the patent we don't have yet, but what we secure is the community-based processing hub that no other company use like what we are doing. We secure the supply and working closely with the local communities and our strategic partners. They can help us to provide the waste, and it's even little or no value at all.
Can I add a little? Actually, because we are a non-profit organization, actually this is our social business, and all the profit that we generate in this project, we will use it to increase the prosperity of the people, and also to make the planet more healthy, like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. David Fernando Audi, for the question, and thank you, Maritime Nusantara Lestari Foundation, for your pitch. All right, ladies and gents, we are now on to the last finalist for the last track. Please welcome SXD AI.
Hello everyone, I'm Shelly, founder and CEO of SXD. I flew halfway around the world to come here to Indonesia, and I see so much beautiful batik here in the audience. Now imagine that your clothes and batik only consumed half of the fabric and wasted nothing by design. That's what SXD does. We use our patented AI technology to scale zero waste designs that are award-winning, cost-cutting, and planet-saving. Half of all global waste is generated before a single product is even sold. In fact, here in Jakarta and in Indonesia, that is 1 million tons of waste every year that fills the Gamma Tower 5 times. And so for SXD, we exist to make waste zero from the starting design. And this is how it works. We drive 10 times the impact in savings and environmental benefits. We turn a typical design, like this t-shirt that you see here, where all the red is waste by design. And today's best technology can only save about 4% of that material. And we turn it into a zero waste design, no red, no waste, and we save up to 69% of the material. Our underlying AI software is patented, is trained on 15 years of proprietary data that our team created and own, and it is the first technology in the world that turns products to zero waste by design, ready to integrate immediately into workflows in Indonesia, and scalable in real time, saving weeks to months of design time with every single product. And we enable 80% smaller carbon footprint, 10 times more material savings than any other technology, and we use that savings to pay workers 2 to 4 times higher wage. And what I'm sharing with you is not just a vision, it's reality that we have already proven with global partners that you see here. This is actually just one of our happy customers, the CEO of Accenture, which we turned all of their merch to zero waste, and she was talking about how SXT has this global scale on Earth Day this year. And just this year, our impact is 4 billion liters of water preserved, 7,000 tons of CO2 reduction, which is about the impact of an entire mature forest. And we're also saving millions of dollars that is allowing us to pay workers 2 to 4 times higher wage. In this example, this is a climate refugee seamstress, Juleka, and by working with SXT and our partners, she was able to, after having the flood and climate change displace her from her home, she was able to actually buy her new land, become a manager, buy her own home, and completely elevate her quality of life. I started SXT because my own hometown here in Asia became a landfill for waste. And I am so proud today to have an entire team that helped me remove this waste by combining the best of design and technology. I am a former creative director from Instagram, and I actually turned down an opportunity to design for Rihanna, so I can stand here today and create zero waste designs. And when I started the company, I went to the head of engineering at Harvard University and asked for the best engineers in the world to help me build this company. The PhDs he told me about are on our team today as part of our engineering team. Today, we have turned the largest global record labels products to zero waste. We have also made iconic brands products to zero waste across America, in Europe, that's the product that you see, and also across Asia. And we've even turned red carpet looks to zero waste, which were featured at the Apple flagship stores. And in fact, it's not just fashion. Just in the last month, we have signed contracts with 2 of the largest automakers in the world, as well as one of the largest furniture manufacturers in the world to turn their products to zero waste. And we've already beat their target 3x. And with the CIIC competition and winning this competition will mean that we can bring our technology here to Indonesia, where 10 million workers are working across these multi-billion-dollar industries that we support. And we already have great local champions such as Busana Apparel Group, which we have already established a plan to turn their products to zero waste. And there are so many more partners, and with today's tariffs, we're a unique solution that can save costs and help the planet at the same time. With the funding, we'll be able to start our project to actually preserve 75 billion liters of water, save over 100,000 tons of CO2 reduction, and save money to actually support 32,000 workers here in Indonesia with a stable income, creating green jobs as we go. And so I invite you to join me to drive 10 times the impact with zero waste designs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, XSDAI, for your pitch. We now move on to the Q&A session. Do you have anyone from your team to join you for the stage?
Oh, no, that's me.
All right. We can proceed then with the Q&A session. And to ask the questions, we'll have Ms. Melissa Irene, partner at East Ventures, also as influential as Rihanna, considering by her colleagues. Go ahead, Ms. Melissa Irene.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Could I ask about the technology? How agile does it work along different materials as well as different fashion trends?
Yeah, so our technology actually works with any 2D rolls of material. The way it works is that basically it removes waste and creates the most efficient way of cutting 2D materials, giving a 3D target of how you want your product to look. So we have actually worked across not only just textiles, but also sheet metal, vinyl, and products that can be used across automotive as well.
And currently, could you share what is your revenue model?
Yes, so our revenue model actually starts with the development phase, where we train our technology with our partner, such as the Busana Group, and make sure that we're outputting really great zero-waste design. And after that, it's a SaaS model. And basically, the idea is that we only make money when our customers and partners save. So it's actually a fraction of the material that our customers save.
Does it mean that when the customers pay, they pay for a certain model? Let's say if they want to produce another one, then you start monetizing on that?
Yeah, so actually with every single zero-waste design block, it actually has a lot of scalability. So you can scale it across sizes, different materials, etc. And so we charge by block. So for example, with someone like the Busana Group, we can actually distill down to 4 to 5 clear blocks and categories of products, and that's enough to train our AI and actually be able to scale to millions of products.
Thank you. Thank you very
Okay, that's the end of your questions, Ms. Moosa. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you to SXT AI for your presentation. Thank you to our good girl gone climate conscious. Thank you for your presentation. All right, so once again, thank you to all the teams for your outstanding presentations. Is that my time? No? I just arrived on stage here, and I want to invite you all to give a warm round of applause to our remarkable finalists. You did an amazing job. Best of luck to each of you. So now we'll move on to the final stage of today's competition. We kindly invite our judges now to proceed to the holding room to deliberate and to determine the winners of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Let's hear it one more time for our judges. Thank you so much, esteemed judges. You have a very important task ahead of you. And we are very much looking forward to your decision as we reveal the winners of the CIIC 2025 right here at Jakarta Convention Center. So ladies and gents, before we proceed to the next part, I would like to again express our deepest gratitude to our partners for the unwavering support. Thank you to our strategic partners, PLN and Triputra Agro Persada, and also to our investor partners, Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food and Skystar Capital, as well as our challenge partners and outreach partners. CIIC 2025 is supported by the Ministry of Environment and Environmental Control Agency. Once again, big thanks to our partners, and we are looking forward to more collaborations in the future. So ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we are ready now to proceed to the next part of the event. And now we're going to have a talk show session where we dive even deeper into the theme of today's event. It is my great pleasure to invite our distinguished speakers to the stage to have a fireside chat. Please welcome Mr. Rahmat Kaimuddin, Chair of ISF Organizing Committee and Deputy Coordinating Minister for Basic Infrastructure and Regional Development, and Ms. Afina Sugiarto, Partner at East Ventures. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them with a big round of applause to Mr. Rahmat Kaimuddin and Ms. Afina Sugiarto.
Selamat pagi, Pak Rahmat. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Thanks for gracing our event. Wow, I'm always amazed by the turnout for ISF. Very successful event. Congratulations. My first question, Pak Rahmat. Could you elaborate on how ISF would involve all stakeholders? We see a lot of private sectors here, youth, civil society, and perhaps academics, local communities in terms of knowledge sharing and decision making. What do you foresee you want to achieve for the Indonesia Sustainability Forum?
Thank you. Let me just tell you the background of ISF. So ISF started in 2023, around September. But the idea, we had this idea at that time around January 2023, right after when we visit Davos. World Economic Forum. So at the time, me and my boss working around in Davos, looking at people talking about energy transition, decarbonization, and very cold, no food, hotels very expensive, right? So we said, okay, why don't we, the few things comes to mind. One, Indonesia can do great events. We just finished G20 in Bali at that time. So it was good. And then few months later, we did Asian Summit. Second thing is, a lot of these discussions that happening around the world, issue about decarbonization, climate, sustainability, typically it's done in more so-called global north countries. And the situation is very different. Their economic situation is very different. Demography, geography, fiscal capacity is very different. So what we think, it's very good to have this type of conversation to be in developing nations. And I think in Indonesia, given our size, our natural resources, our thought leadership, and our history, I think we can do such events in Indonesia. You want to talk about energy transitions? We have a lot of energy, renewable energy potentials. About critical minerals, we have that. And of course, very, very youthful population that is ready to grow the economy. So what we think, let's do it in Indonesia. The dream is to have to be the Davos of sustainability. And of course, to be that, you have to engage multiple stakeholders. So these past 3 years, the way we did ISF has been always free. It'll be supported by public and private, and we want to open this because we don't want ISF is only belong to certain groups, but it should be belong to everybody. And ideally, then we want to make the topics to be as wide as possible, including this one, right, that we just saw, new technology. So it's very good. So roughly that is the thought.
Definitely great to see the initiative here for ISF. We do want to see voices from Indonesia, right, from developing market, not just from the global north, as you mentioned. And we also want to see more funding, as Pak Dias mentioned earlier today. We do need more funding for climate change solutions. So, talking about climate and talking about Indonesia, our geography with 17,000 islands make it, say, more challenging to tackle climate change, but also I see opportunities. What do you think about the green infrastructure development in Indonesia? What do you see are the key challenges? How do you see solutions and innovations can tackle that?
Yeah, so I think multiple challenge, right? One thing about climate, I think the science is relatively clear. We are facing a climate crisis because of the greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere is going up. Why? Because we burn fossil fuel more than what we can absorb, right? The CO2. However, what to do is relatively less clear, right? If you are a mature economy with a lot of fiscal capacity, then a lot of these thoughts is about, okay, let's shift immediately. Let's shut down what we have been using for 100 years and not use it anymore. For Indonesia, for example, we are a growing economy. We need to build more. I'll give you one example. Imagine two countries, right? One country, today they have mature economy, the electricity demand capacity is 100. 10 years later, it will be 100 as well, because their economy is no longer growing that much. For Indonesia, is 100, next 10 years is 200. So this country A will be, like, let's say they will say, okay, they will just need to replace the old equipment. So just capex replacement. For Indonesia though, first we need to spend capital to build the new capacity. And then if we were to replace, the question is, have we already used that asset beyond in the economic value? Or we have to pay up the contract, right? And then how to replace the lost capacity, for example. So that is the angle about prioritization, what to do first, right? The other thing is about the geography, right? Basically, Indonesia, if you're a continental country, you can do one grid system. But Indonesia, we have to have multiple grid and maybe some micro grids as well. Those are the challenges of what needs to be built. And of course, credit rating is different. This is new, so we also need to learn how to create the ecosystem, the contracts. PPP is not yet mature in multiple sectors. Maybe in power sector is relatively mature, but maybe not yet in others. So few challenges, and that's why we need to have this type of conversation like what we are having today.
Definitely, I think we think collaboration is the currency for climate as well, and with more conversations and partnerships, we will develop a better future together, not just for us, but the future generations to come as well. Looking at climate innovations now, we always believe in investments, right? It needs to make an economic sense, not just reducing emissions or not for the sake of the planet or climate, right? But it does take policy to be able to get it to that direction. So in terms of accelerating climate innovations to contribute to Indonesia's economic growth, what do you think are key areas that need to be developed for us to accelerate this growth?
Sorry, I get distracted. Pak Darsono, I get called by Pak Nurul. Can you call him, please? Sorry, can you repeat the question?
In terms of accelerating climate innovations, with whether it's policies that needs to be developed to really support more funding to comes to the sector right in Indonesia, what do you think are key areas that need to be developed for climate innovations?
Yeah, I think in the end of the day, first of all, the political science or socioeconomic understanding of climate is slightly different. Again, we are driven typically by the global north. That is the narrative typically. So, but for countries like Indonesia, we are not yet thought leaders in industries or technology, right? So, first of all, the goal for us is about trying what already works. We don't have the capacity yet to experiment. So, for example, for Indonesia, we see which technology is mature and already make economic sense. And then we go very hard on that. So I'll give you a couple of examples that we did in Indonesia. Let's say electric vehicle. We see that electric vehicle is now relatively affordable, and then we do a lot of incentive. Had we give that incentive maybe 10 years ago, when the technology is not yet mature, then it will be very, very costly. Right now, we are pushing on solar panel. Again, 10, 20 years ago, solar panel will be probably very prohibitively costly. So what we need to do, but now we see, hey, it's already quite cheap. Let's move in a big way. So we need to be a little bit more strategic, but also quickly tactical in executing. The moment it makes sense, government should come. But things move very quickly. We need support from people like you. You see, oh, this technology is already good. It already makes economic sense, but requires a little bit of nudge, right, from the government. That is where we can add a lot of value. But let's say in a very, very immature technology, very risky technology, and then it'll be quite difficult, for example, for Indonesian government to bear the risk. But of course, we need to monitor what technologies today that is available and wait until, for us, makes economic sense.
Understand. That's why we need more competitions like this, more funding like this to really help the innovators, climate innovators, to bring their solutions in place as well. I really agree with you. You know, I think on the solar panel side, we have a portfolio company called Surya, which we funded since 2018. really started with zero, now one of the largest distributed solar in Indonesia, right? Doesn't it, doesn't it more subsidies from the government side in terms of technology there? But on the two-wheeler EV, we are actually waiting if the subsidy is going to come back, Pak Rahmat.
Don't ask me about the two-wheeler subsidy yet.
Okay.
Ask the other side.
All right. No question there, just mentioning it. But CIIC here, we have supported climate innovators for the past 3 years, ranging from renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and circular economy solutions. What are the solutions you think are exciting that needs to be that needs more attention into or more investments into that still early stage that you see? So not the solar, not the two-wheeler EV that we already see. What are the new technologies in these sectors that you'd like to see? Maybe not this year, but in the coming years.
Yeah, sorry I didn't attend the whole thing, right? But the ones that I attended just now looks quite very promising. So people, when they think about green jobs, for example, or green technology, then immediately people think about, oh, has to be an energy sector, in fuel and whatnot. Actually, bottom line is that we need to grow our economy without adding more carbon intensity. So at least in my mind, any work, any jobs, any technology investments whereby it doesn't add more CO2 should be considered green. For example, Shelley just now talked about they reduce, using AI, basically reducing the materials need for clothing. Yeah, that is directly or indirectly reduce waste and therefore reduce energy, for example. So I think we'll need to be very, very critical on how we do what we do before we are living in the world of abundance. We can just dig energy out of the ground and burn it and whatnot, right? But I think now we need to be a little bit more careful. How do we do our activities? How do we consume food? How do we wear our clothes? How do we do mobility? I think all of that we should be critical, and any technology that will help us be more efficient, more effective, using less resources should be considered green technology in my mind.
Great insights. In terms of looking to the future in the next 10 to 20 years for Indonesia climate innovations and infrastructure. So looking at, on one side, innovations, on the other side, infrastructure development. And considering, as you mentioned, the population growth for the country, the economic growth for the country, and urbanization, what are your hopes in terms of how the various stakeholders will work together to improve the climate infrastructure and climate innovations here?
Yeah, I think the challenge for us, right? Let's say in 2045, we want to reach golden Indonesia. Roughly GDP, I don't know, between 15,000 to 30,000. We want to be developed nations. That definitely will require more food, more energy, more resources, more water. And I think the hope is that when we use that resources, we need to make sure that it doesn't add more emission. At least we do our part. And of course, the discussions need to happen, the knowledge needs to be shared, because some people will today maybe thinking, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that. Very, very still different of opinion. But moving forward, I think we need to align, as long as we need to align where we are going. It doesn't have to be exactly the same road, but as long as we are going to the right directions, anything as you reduce burning fossil fuel, reduce energy consumption, reduce materials and resources that we use, and willing to embrace that change, I think we are in the right direction.
So today we have a lot of innovators, a lot of aspiring innovators as well. We see students and also many young leaders here. I want you to give a bit of a few words of motivations for for these leaders, young leaders and innovators, to bring solutions to Indonesia, or if they're from Indonesia, to really, hone in more of their innovations, implementation of their innovations in Indonesia. What are the key learnings as a innovator yourself, right?
I mean, I don't know whether I'm in the position to be able to say that. But first of all, for the innovators today, thank you for pushing the boundaries and then basically showing us what is possible. And I'm hoping for the budding innovators, you see that if you put your minds to it, there are solutions, there are things that we can do. It's basically, a lot of things are possible, and that is how, by just changing it to the better, by people like you, the innovators and the budding innovators, then we can have better future. And we are kind of the older generation, we are starting to fade away. 2045 will belong to the current students probably in the audience. So, semangat.
Thank you, Pak Rahmat. I think with that, the judges should be coming back. Okay. We will. Thank you so much, Pak Rahmat, for the insights. Obviously, we are very happy to have you to witness the winners of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 today. Thank you so much, Pak Rahmat.
Thank you, Ms. Afina and Pak Rahmat. Please kindly stay on stage as we're about to reward a token of appreciation presented by Ms. Afina to Pak Rahmat Kaimuddin to show our gratitude for the support and the partnership for today's event. So if we can have the photographers also getting ready to capture this proud moment. So Ms. Afina Sugiarto, partner at East Ventures, will present a token of appreciation to Pak Rahmat Kaimuddin. All right, we'll continue with another photo session. Please remain on stage because we'd like to invite Mr. Ng Boon Hyung, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation, with Mr. Theo Minh Kian, Board of Director Temasek Foundation, and Mr. Dias Hendro Priyono, Vice Minister of Environment of Indonesia, to also join us on stage for a photo opportunity. And of course, His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, if be so kind enough to also join us for a moment of togetherness on stage as we celebrate the many collaboration and partnerships that we all share today as a token of our unwavering commitment to tackle climate challenges in Indonesia, across the region, and all around the world. All right, amazing. Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together. And once again, thank you for the insightful talk show we just witnessed together. All right, ladies and gents, as we can see, the judges are back from their deliberation. Welcome back, esteemed judges. Thank you so much for doing such a hard task. We cannot imagine the discussion that you just had in the deliberation room, but we are very happy and excited to have you here back in the room as we're about to reveal the winners of the CIIC 2025. But first, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible innovations that we've all witnessed today. Each of the finalists have shown us how creativity and commitment can truly make a difference in tackling climate challenges. So maybe I would also like to hear from you, ladies and gents in the room. If you're feeling inspired, can you please put your hands together one more time for the finalists? There you go. Thank you so much for the support and enthusiasm. And please show that enthusiasm also in your social media. And when you do that, don't forget to tag at CIIC_SEA and also social medias of East Ventures and Temasek Foundation to spread the word. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally come. Our judges have completed their deliberations, and very soon we will find out the winners of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Once again, the winners will share a total prize pool of 10 billion rupiah to pilot their solutions here in Indonesia. Yes, that deserves another warm round of applause. But beyond that funding, they will also gain global exposure, access to investors, and a range of exclusive perks designed to accelerate their impact. Before we announce the winners of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025 for each track, we would like to invite Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director, Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food, to the stage to join us in announcing the team that will receive the grant funding of $50,000 from Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food. So of course, this is a very exciting moment. Let's find out together which finalist will receive this grant funding from Sinarmas. Pak Fernando Audi, if you could step ahead so everybody can get a good look of the screen as we're about to reveal the name of the finalists that will receive this grant funding. We'll find out together. The decision will be right there on the LED screen. The selected team is suspense. Arukah Capital! Congratulations! Please come forward to the stage. Mr. David Fernando Audi will hand over the awards to Arukah Capital, who now has received grant funding of $50,000 from Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food. Right? Thank you so much. Have you had enough of the pictures? All right then. Thank you so much for being here for that very special moment. Okay, please return to your seats. Already feeling very excited, but we are just warming up, ladies and gentlemen, because now we're about to find out who the winners are for the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. I'm sure you're all very curious and very excited to learn the names of the winners, of course, especially the finalists. So before we proceed, we'd like to invite representatives from East Ventures and Temasek Foundation to come up to the stage to present the awards. Please welcome Mr. Eng Boon Hyong, Executive Director and CEO of Temasek Foundation, and Ms. Afina Sugiarto, partner at East Ventures, to please come to the stage to hand over the awards to the winners of Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Eng Boon Hyong and Ms. Afina Sugiarto. So now we will reveal the name of the winning teams on the big screen in front of us. Let's start by finding out the winner of the Climate Impact Innovation Challenge 2025 for the Energy Transition Track. Here we go, ladies and gents. The winner of the Energy Transition Track is Aslan Renewables. Congratulations! Enjoy your moment and receive the honors. Mr. Eng Boon Hyong presenting the award to the winning team of the Energy Transition Track. Let's also celebrate with a group photo together with the Energy Transition Track winner, Aslan Renewables. Congratulations, Aslan Renewable. Please stay close. We will need you for the group photo later on, but for now you can move on to the side of the stage. Ms. Afina and Mr. Eng Boon Hyong, also please remain on stage as we are about to announce the next winner. Ladies and gentlemen, with the winner of the first track already announced, let's now move on to the next track, Sustainable Agriculture. The winner for Sustainable Agriculture track is already a big winner here at the CIIC 2025. Ms. Afina Sugiarto handing over the award to Arukah Capital, the winner for Sustainable Agriculture Track. Congratulations to Arukah Capital. All smiles to the front. Amazing. Thank you so much. Arukah Capital, stay close. Congratulations. And now we are going to find out who's the winner for the next track, Circular Economy. Ladies and gents, the winner for Circular Economy track is AI. Good girl, Don Climate Conscious. Here to read the awards, Mr. Edwin Tong will present the award to our winning team of the Circular Economy track, XSD AI. Take a group photo together. Amazing. Now please stay on stage. We also like to invite all the winners to join everyone already on stage. Take a group photo winner. This is the first time you are seeing all together the winners for this year Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. For the next session, we'd like to invite Mr. Rahmat Kaimuddin, Chair of ISF Organizing Committee and Deputy Coordinating Minister for Basic Infrastructure and Regional Development, to also join us on stage for a photo opportunity. And of course, we'd like to invite our VVIPs, Mr. Bias Hendro Priyono, Vice Minister of Environment of Indonesia, the Ambassador of the Republic of Singapore to the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Kwok Fook Seng, Mr. Ferro Feriska, Special Advisor for Coordinating Ministry of Human Development and Cultural Affairs, Mr. Darsono Hartono, Vice Chairman of Environmental Sector from the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Theo Min Kian, Board of Director, Temasek Foundation, Mr. Bernard Tan, Chairman of Sustainability Committee from APP Sinarmas. And of course, our esteemed judges, please join us on stage as well. Mr. David Fernando Audi, Director Sinarmas Agribusiness and Food, Ms. Hang Lilang, Head Climate and Livability Temasek Foundation, Ms. Melissa Irene, Partner at East Ventures, and Mr. Abraham Hidayat, Managing Partner, SkyStar Capital. Let's all be on stage for a photo opportunity and a moment of celebration as we welcome the latest batch of winners for CIIC 2025 Grand Finale. Big smiles to the front. There you have it, our winners for Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025, organized by East Ventures and Temasek Foundation. Congratulations to our winners once again. Thank you, ladies and gents. Thank you to all the committee and also partners for realizing this very important moment in our pursuit of tackling climate challenges. Once again, we also congratulate all finalists for doing so spectacular on stage. We look forward to further innovations from all of you as well. So once again, congratulations to all of our winners. Our deepest appreciation to all the finalists who have showcased us their amazing innovations. We wish you all a continued success in your journey. Thank you for being a part of the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2025. Once again, thank you to our esteemed judges, our exceptional finalists, our value partners, IISF 2025, and everyone who have made this event possible. Once again, ladies and gents, don't forget to share the excitement of CIIC 2025 on social media and mention at CIIC_SEA, East Ventures, and Temasek Foundation on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also X. I am Siska Becker on behalf of the organizing committee. Thank you once again for being a part of today's event, and we'll see you at the Climate Impact Innovations Challenge 2026. Until then, take care and please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
In 2009, Indonesia's digital landscape was just a whisper. Only 30 million internet users, a mere 13% of the population, were exploring this new frontier. Amidst an ocean of opportunities that were not obvious to everyone, Wilson, Taiga, and Batara saw the spark leaders and creating countless economic growth and positive impacts. With 15 years of experience, we have witnessed countless crises and economic cycles. Despite all the challenges, East Ventures stood firm. We focused on resilience, adaptability, and core strengths, transcending these values throughout the ecosystem and actively working hand in hand with the founders to navigate and thrive. Our circle of expertise, combined with our team's brainpower and the systems we have built over the years, allow us to be increasingly efficient in making data-driven decisions and avoiding complacency in supporting our portfolio companies. Our collaboration has only grown stronger, and at every
more generations to come.
Listrik adalah nadi kehidupan, menyalakan cahaya, menggerakkan industri, dan menghadirkan masa depan hijau. Kini, kekuatan itu datang dari sumber bersih dan tak terbatas. Menuju net zero emission 2060, transformasi bauran energi menjadi fondasi kokoh bagi masa depan yang bersih, hijau, dan berkelanjutan. Ini diwujudkan PLN dalam RUPTL 2025-2034. PLN menargetkan pembangkit energi baru terbarukan mencapai 76%, setara 52,9 gigawatt. Untuk memastikan energi bersih terus mengalir, PLN menghadirkan 5 klaster solusi utama. Power Connection Solution, sambungan energi yang handal, cepat untuk industri dan bisnis. Operational Excellence Solution, pendampingan operasional, inspeksi, dan monitoring demi keandalan pembangkit dan jaringan. Green Energy Solution, penyediaan energi terbarukan dari studi, instalasi, hingga perawatan panel surya. Digital Technology Solution, integrasi teknologi pintar, smart meter, monitoring jarak jauh. Management System Solution, manajemen energi terpadu melalui audit energi dan dashboard digital terkini. PLN menerangi masa depan dengan energi bersih, handal, dan berkelanjutan.
Produk-produk sangat ringkas, cepat, dan responsif. Betul-betul fit dengan kebutuhan pelanggan kita. Membangun kapasitas nasional dan memberikan kemakmuran bagi rakyat Indonesia.
Bersama, kita wujudkan Indonesia yang lebih hijau, lebih maju. The New PLN 4.0, Accelerating Renewable Energy.
Triputra Agro Persada, a sustainable plantation company founded by Mr. Theodore Permati Rachmat and the late Mr. Benny Subianto. Established in 2005, Triputra Agro Persada was born in, by, and for Indonesia, carrying the aspiration to create real and sustainable value for nature, society, and future generations. Our commitment to preserving ecological balance is the cornerstone of our continuous growth journey. Across our plantations, we implement the best agricultural practices in a sustainable manner, ensuring that every step we take contributes positively to ecosystem preservation. This commitment is further strengthened through the utilization of POME as a greener and more efficient energy source as part of our efforts to reduce carbon emissions. We have dedicated land for conservation purposes, among them a Mayong Marapun forest and the Leta River area, actively preserving biodiversity while protecting our forests from fire hazards. At the heart of our progress lies collaboration with local communities. We strive to support the fulfillment of essential needs, ranging from healthcare, education, infrastructure, and clean water access to cultural preservation initiatives. Through the Desa Makmur Peduli Api program, we promote sustainable village independence, encouraging long-term resilience and self-reliance. We place strong emphasis on empowering smallholder oil palm farmers by sharing our best practices, enabling them to manage their plantations independently and sustainably, improving both productivity and family welfare. Our TAP for the Nation program are aligned with the National Asatita Agenda in support of Indonesia's Golden Vision 2045, corn cultivation to strengthen food security, milk provision for school children through the Sihari program to improve child nutrition, home renovation through the Pondasi program to support better living conditions. Our commitment to sustainability continues to grow through adherence to global standards and strategic collaborations to drive green innovation forward. Triputra Agro Persada, Green Plantation for better quality of life.